Hey Josh, that mouse is still real clicky. Is there any way you could move that over a little?
Not a problem. I put it back into the mic again.
So we're, I guess I communicated poorly. Yeah, we're live now. So,
you have to stop fucking doing this, man.
What the hell is wrong?
So by starting over, I just meant that I was pressing stop on the stream and restarting OBS. And anyway.
Hello.
One sip of crown.
So you guys ready?
Yeah.
I guess we have to be.
Okay. Live take two. Welcome to the Carousel, where we discuss video games, movies, sometimes comic books, and whatever awful things those conversations lead to. I am John MusiM. With me I have Randy.
Hello.
I have Jake.
You're just the worst at everything.
I am. And we have our special guest today, LateElf, also known as Josh.
Hello.
Special guest.
Is it you took Japanese, right, Randy? Is that how they actually say that?
It'd be like super shuru guest. If they were just doing it in
wait,
English.
Is it really? Oh, okay.
Super shiru, something like that.
So they don't bother actually translating certain words. They just say them with an accent.
A lot of people speak English, and they say it with an accent because everything's syllabic, right? So a lot of anyway.
So I was at our Christmas party, and like Joey, previous cast member Joey, was given a shirt. I believe it was Star Wars with kanji on it. And then I also had a Metroid shirt on that had kanji on it. And the next 20 minutes was literally 3 or 4 people, like 3 or 4 of these white motherfuckers at this party, like speaking this kanji on our shirts. So
It was katakana.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, you got served, son.
I took 3 years of that.
Sibby Masin.
Oh man, pronunciation was all wrong.
All right, so speaking of John, people whose names start with J being full of shit, I fucked up a couple of things. Actually, I probably fucked up a ton of things on our end of year cast. But the 2 things that I want to bring up, I kept saying Patrick Bateman when I meant Jason Bateman when I was talking about Ozark. I wanted to sort of justify that little, why that name was floating around my head. Patrick Bateman. It is Jason Bateman. I kept saying Patrick. And Patrick Bateman is the main character in American Psycho. That's, God, what fucking Batman?
Yeah, that's Batman's character.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, we got one for next week. And then the other thing is, I was saying Peter Capaldi when I was talking about the Tick. Peter Capaldi's the current, or maybe is just barely no longer the Doctor in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I was thinking Peter Serafinowicz. So my bad. Sorry, everyone. I'm full of shit.
Good pronunciation on his last name, because I never remember how the fuck to say that.
Serafinovich? Maybe? It could be Vitch. I don't know. You never know with those Polacks.
Your first pass I was taking, but whatever.
So speaking of everything that man has done, I think the Tick so far was his magnum opus. Randy, have you been playing anything related to magnum opus?
The opposite of that. I'm not sure if there's any significance to swapping those two. I'm sure. What is that, Latin? I'm sure within Latin that's significant for some reason. Anyway, there is a game that just came out. It's a puzzle game by the same guys that did Space Kim. If any of you are familiar with that one, it's called Opus Magnum.
Nice.
Not the other way around. If you search Magnum Opus, you won't find it. But it's available on Steam. It's on sale right now if you want to grab it, and I suggest you do.
When did you pick it up? Because it probably isn't still on sale.
I picked it up Friday.
Then it is probably not on sale any longer.
Well, you should still get it. I think it's like a $30 game, and it's well worth the time. There's the gameplay is similar to Space Kim in that you have a selection of inputs. You build a machine, and then you need to produce specific outputs. It's not. Space Kim was on a square grid. This is on a hex mat, and you have like arms and stuff that move around the inputs, and it's not. Space Kim was all real elements and stuff that you made bonds with, but this is alchemy, and so you are transmuting like elemental earth and all this kind of mumbo jumbo. But But it's the same idea. You have inputs, and you're trying to generate specific outputs. It's even got a similar story structure to it, so you can definitely tell that it's put out by the same guys. If you liked Space Kim, I can't imagine that you wouldn't like this game. So definitely pick that up. I've been playing it every night for a couple hours. I got other stuff to do. I can't put too much time in, but
from what I've seen of it, it looks like there's kind of some automated stuff, like a la Factorio or something like that, where you're kind of either coding stuff, and not coding, but like automating stuff or setting stuff up so that it sort of does a Rube Goldberg thing. Is that true? Am I reading that right?
It's not so much a Rube Goldberg because it repeats, but you are every element. Well, not every element, but like all the arms and things like this that you actually move things around with, you have to issue a string of commands to. Just like in Space Kim, there's like grab, drop, move this way, move that way. You know what I'm saying? And you can have different lengths of arms, and there's extender arms and things like this. So there's a variety of tools that you can use to create these alchemical things. Like courage water or whatever. It's nonsense, but
courage water.
Yeah, it turns out
all
it's
about
just
that shit. Yeah.
So
that sounds kind of expensive for. I mean, it's just like a puzzle, like alchemy game, but it's $30.
It's a puzzle like coding game or programming game.
Yeah, you're definitely issuing instructions, and you're setting up, and it has to all line up. Like if your set of instructions, because you might have 5 or 6, 7 different lines of instructions that need to sync up perfectly, and not only did they need to sync up perfectly, they didn't need to repeat without getting off. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bit of timing to it. Atoms can't collide, arms can't collide, so there's spatial problems you have to solve, there's timing problems you have to solve all at once. That's good. And it does seem like a lot. I think the initial playthrough maybe won't take a whole lot of time. I accidentally left it on overnight, so my hours played is not accurate, but I'd say I've put in about 8 to 10 hours, and I'm halfway through. Some of the puzzles are pretty quick, some of them take a long time. But there's a cool replay thing, because all of your friends who play it, once you complete a puzzle, it shows you on some leaderboards on 3 different stats where you stand. And one of them is cost, so like all these components that you're putting on your hex mat to manipulate things, those all have a cost associated with them. There's cycles, how fast it did its job, and area, how big it was.
Well, everyone's got to stay honest for those to work, because I'm sure by this point, someone's worked out all the optimal, lowest cost, smallest area, quickest build.
Well, sure. You can, I forget. You can save your solutions, like, because once you're done and you think you've got it, you hit play, and it just starts going through. And once you get 6 of whatever it is you need to produce, it's done, and however many cycles that took and then it compares that to everybody else, and then the cost in the area, and you can save that as a GIF. I say GIF, and it'll upload it directly to one of those imaging upload sites. I'm not
Imgur
sure
or something.
I don't think it's Imgur. It might be Imgur, but
there's like a Gifly and a GIF Nation and a
I don't think it's Imgur, but it might be. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure all of those are out there. I'm sure if you go to Reddit, you can find all kinds of solutions and things like that. But yeah, I don't think any. Right now, it's just me and a couple of my friends, and I don't. They're too proud to resort to such things. But I was going to say there's some replayability, because you want to go in and you can make your machine better, and like if this guy is beating you in cycles, like there are a couple of them where there are a couple of these solutions where I have them beat on cost and area, but I'm like 10 cycles behind them. And so like there's, and if you move even just one little thing, it throws your whole machine out of whack, and so I think there's a lot of replayability in it if that sort of besting your friends is of importance to you, which it is to me with these guys.
It kind of sounds like it'd be a cool phone game. Didn't you say you were playing on Steam?
Yeah, I'm playing on my PC via Steam. It could work on a phone. It's not graphically intense at all. Any of the last few generations of smartphones should be able to run it just fine.
Yeah, but it looks nice. I mean, the presentation's good. It's not, like an old Flash
Oh
game.
yeah, it's got really cool art. It's got characters. It's got story, dialogue. It's got like a whole fictional sort of world. I don't want to say steampunk, but like there's houses and guilds in Europe. You play an alchemist fresh out of the academy that goes to work for one of the great houses.
The Alchademy?
Yes. So far, I really like it. I was kind of hoping, I couldn't remember if the cast was tonight or in another 2 weeks or next week, and I'm a little disappointed that it was tonight because I was going to play Magnum Opus. Opus Magnum. I just did it.
Okay, so I looked those up, and Latin is real dumb. So Opus Magnum Magnum Opus is great work, labor. So Opus Magnum would be labor, great work. Or like deed, great work.
Just as simple as that.
It's real dumb. Like, there's a reason that tongue is dead.
All right. I mean, that's basically all I've really got to say about it. I haven't beat it yet. I'd say I'm about halfway through. I'm currently stuck on a couple puzzles. You can set up multiple machines. Like, once you solve it, you don't necessarily have to edit the one solution you came up with. You can have multiple solutions to one puzzle ready to go. It saves them all. So, I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot. I bought it on the recommendation of my friend Kevin. So, and I would recommend it to anybody that definitely, if you liked Space Chem, you will like this game.
Cool. Well,
Yep.
I saw a, I guess, somewhat controversial movie called Mother. There's an exclamation point on the end for some reason. It's kind of dumb. So
I don't like punctuation in my movie titles.
it's a little weird, but this was like, this movie's taken a lot of flack for some of the violence that's shown at the end of it, and some of the like gender, sex, derogatory terms they use to kind of get across their point near the end. But this is a Darren Aronofsky movie, so you immediately know it's going to have the happiest ending you can imagine. The man only deals in happy endings. I mean,
What else did he do? Fountainhead? What's
no,
it called?
no.
The Fountain?
The Fountain.
Fountain.
He did the
Attack
DJ Heroin movie. You know, the
Requiem for a Dream.
Ass to Ass movie.
Requiem for a Dream.
Where the guy got the cyborg DJ arm at the end.
Requiem for a Dream.
For record scratching?
Yes. Anyway, you know, and he uses Clint Mansell from Pop Elite itself for his soundtracks.
Javier Bardem is in it, and I like him.
Yeah. No, it's Javier Bardem, Jennifer Lawrence, Ed Harris,
Really?
Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Michelle Pfeiffer, right. I was trying to remember the other name.
That's an all-star cast.
Yeah.
Did Michelle Pfeiffer get married to someone whose last name was Wright? Because you guys just called him Michelle Pfeiffer Wright.
Michelle Pfeiffer, comma, right?
Oh, okay. It's not a hyphenate. All right. I don't follow her. I don't know.
But anyway,
Yeah,
so
I'm
this movie, I've read some reviews from people who liked it who don't want to spoil the premise, but I'm gonna spoil the premise. The basic idea is Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem are married and living in a house. And them living in the house is a big allegory, metaphor, whatever, for, like, he kind of frames it in the context of the Bible, except where Jennifer Lawrence is Mother Nature and Javier Bardem is God. So you, like, throughout the movie, you have God constantly, like, kind of craving the affections of his of the people he meets and wanting to know them and love them, and then the people, of course, shit all over Mother Nature, so Jennifer Lawrence is constantly kind of catching a shitstorm.
This sounds terrible.
It's
Oh my
The
God.
whole, so you're saying the whole thing is just pure allegory?
it's it goes places, but that's the setup of it, and that's a lot of the framework that it goes through. Like, and for me that was kind of fun because you got to do a little puzzle solving while you're watching. I've never seen a movie where I was actively thinking of what metaphor or allegory it may be going for. And this one I totally was, and I'm not going to say I understand it, and I'm not going to say that I've I've read a lot of reviews and critiques of it and things like that. Like, this movie is very much art as fuck. Like, it is very much there, but like it's also like a high tension, and you're constantly wondering why.
Like, to a pretentious point, because that's what I worry about with it.
It's debatable. I don't think it's pretentious at all. I think he deviates enough from the various source materials that it doesn't fucking matter. But at the same time, like, there's certain things that happen in the movie that's like, well, of course that was going to happen. Why are you guys surprised? This is less bloody than a regular horror movie. This is not Eli Roth. This is not fucking Saw or some bullshit.
Okay,
but
those are not regular horror movies, by the way.
Are they not?
Those are what we call gore porn.
I would say the first Saw qualifies, but not any of the sequels.
Well, and I'm just saying the gore in this movie is not substantial. It is brief, and it offended a fuck ton of people. Like, they felt like they went too far with it.
Why? Because of who it happens to?
I'd have to spoil the end of it.
Alright, well.
It's not necessarily the actor it happens to. It's just that it happens. But I fucking love the movie. I thought it was great. I thought it's a little confusing and windy at first, and you're kind of seeing everything through Jennifer Lawrence's eyes. And it's also got a lot to be said about kind of expectations of feminism in the household kind of thing. That Jennifer Lawrence is constantly having to deal with because she is fulfilling that clean the house, keep it up, kept kind of role. And I thought I really thought the third sequence in it was fucking fantastic. But unfortunately, I can't talk about the more controversial aspects of the film without spoiling the ending, which I'm not going to do at this point. But
how did you see it, like on demand or whatever? I guess that doesn't really matter. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I rented it from Amazon. Like, I actually watched it, and I'm like, that was a very well put together movie. And initially, I wasn't sure if I ever wanted to see it again. And then, like, 2 days later, I went and bought the Blu-ray.
Oh, you gave it a rewatch.
Like, I really like that movie.
Okay.
It is a super fucked up movie. It is, when I say I like that movie, it's a weird. It's not like I'm getting excited about the good it does humanity. Like, it's very much an ugly mirror of, yeah, humanity's kind of shit, like, a lot of the time, isn't it?
I guess our Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris's characters, humanity, and they show up and wreck the place.
Yeah, they're basically Adam and Eve.
Oh, okay.
But
it does sound a little forced.
well, it's not like they show up fucking naked or some shit like that.
Yeah, banana leaves on their crotch.
They're kind of just douchebag people who start staying in the house and won't leave, kind of thing. Like, all the guests for the house are fucking giant ass douchebags. Like, they are the worst. But yeah, this movie's very, very fucking artsy. So, you know, if you aren't, like, it's definitely not a movie for everyone. So,
well, I think that's been made clear.
It's one of those great things that you can have on the TV. You know, it's like if you're working or something, you can just turn it on and then turn around and then mute it, and it's great. It's great for something like that if you have that kind of situation.
I think that would actually make the movie real boring, like until the third act.
My impression just from the trailers was that it had great atmosphere, and that it was probably pretty tense.
The trailers are very misleading. I actually went and watched the trailer because I saw some reviewers were upset that the movie wasn't what they thought it was going to be.
But then they would bitch if the trailer gave away too much.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah, no, you can't. I don't know that there was a good way to advertise for this movie, to be honest with you, just because it was constructed to be controversial and decisive, I think, in a lot of ways. But I don't know. It's a cool fucking movie. Like, it's cool kind of picking out the parallels. It's cool kind of seeing the mirror, like them holding up a mirror and showing the commentary of just how people treat each other and kind of their expectations. Like, granted, you know, Aronofsky is very liberal. He's a vegan, you know, all that shit. So
say no more. I'll never watch it.
That's shocking. I'm shocked to find this out.
but it's not like, you know, you're gonna. It's not like it's a big expulsion towards Trump or something like that. I'm just saying that in that it's. Well, to be honest with you, as I'm talking through this,
Maybe it is.
it really has nothing to do with fucking politics in it at all. It's entirely to
I
do
wouldn't think so.
with
It
social.
takes place entirely within a house, right?
It's entirely to do with social situations. Like Ed Harris shows up and Javier Bardem like starts talking to him and is excited about it, and she's like, "Don't smoke in the house," and then he immediately starts smoking in the house, and she tells him not to again, and finally goes outside, and the next thing you know, he's staying the night because Javier Bardem invited him over for the night without consulting Jennifer Lawrence, his wife, and so she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, he has nowhere to go. There's no hotel anywhere around here, you know? Like, we're just going to let him stay here for a bit. And then the next day, like, his wife shows up. And, you know, just... That's kind of how the movie goes for, like, the first 2 acts. Is people just keep showing up, and shit keeps happening, and is entirely out of Jennifer Lawrence's control, and is maybe not instigated, but definitely allowed by Javier Bardem's character.
Yeah, nothing about this sounds heavy-handed at all. This all sounds very subtle and well put together, and not at all beating you over the fucking head with this. How long is this thing?
It's probably 2 hours. I don't know.
14 hours on 6 cassette tapes.
I have no idea. But it's a movie I liked. It's not a movie I expect most other people to like. I think some of the flack and criticism it's caught has been for the wrong reasons. Because I don't think anything in that 3rd act should have set people off. But whatever.
People be sensitive.
Yeah, so. Anyway, it's
so
holding up a
speaking of
mirror to the situation.
Yeah.
That might be a little darkened, like a phone. Phone sucks.
The mirror's your phone. This one's you, Josh.
My phone?
Well, I started Black Mirror a little while ago when it first came out. So I guess it's been longer than I thought, and I only got through the first 2 episodes at the time, and that was pretty crazy. Jake finally talked me around to watching the 3rd episode of that season, and
John
you were
had
right.
trouble with it at first.
That was a rough start, but by the end, I was sitting there kind of. You know, wow, that was some heavy shit right there.
Was it the pig fucking episode? Because that's what did it for John. He didn't go back for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, that wasn't hard for me. That wasn't so bad. Even the second one wasn't bad. I didn't think with the worst American Idol I've ever seen in my life. But the start, the memory focus of the 3rd episode and just where they took it to, that completed the season for me pretty well right there. That I did not see him going there with that situation at all.
That 3rd one, because there were only 3 shows in the first. What do they call them? How do they call them? Seasons or series? Yeah. There were only 3 episodes in that first series, right? So the 3rd one, was that the one where the lady's husband died, and he like had him recreated or something from his text and stuff?
The 3rd one's the rewind one.
Where you rewind your memory like a little key fob.
Yeah, like that's the one where, like, I was with you too, Josh. Like in that, like the first half of that episode, I'm like, where the fuck is this going? I hate all of these people, and it goes in such a fucking insane, like curve at the end. It's really hard to beat episode 2 and 3. I think of the rest of that series, but
is that the one also where there's because it's put in your brain, like you can be blocked by people?
That is White Christmas.
Later?
That is season 3's 1 episode, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like a little chip behind your ear that just kind of records everything that way, transdermally, I suppose.
Kind of like Google Glass, but less intrusive.
Because it's only under your skin. Yes.
Yeah. Well, less intrusive to other people.
You know, I have to go back and watch that one. That one, I mean, I remember all the aesthetics from it. I remember people like you know, putting their, like, swirling their finger around behind their ear or whatever to rewind shit. But I don't remember what actually happened aside from the couple being pissed at each other.
I mean, I'll run you through the first couple beats because it starts out, and I haven't seen this episode in a year or two, so correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. But it starts out with him in an interview and him rewinding the interview and going over it and trying to figure out if he got the job or not. To kind of introduce you to the mechanic, and then him and his wife get in like a small argument, and then they rewind to see who was right on who said what, and that kind of sets the stage for the down spiral where they go to a party of some sort, and then they're like, hey, why don't you put the interview on the screen and we'll all kind of judge kind of thing. But
we'll all critique how he fucked it up. Yeah, I remember that.
Something like that. And it really spins out of control from there, and that it's every kind of paranoid thought the guy has, he has memories he can rewind back and watch to either confirm or speculate on it.
God, those first 3 seasons are awesome.
Yeah,
that is one upgrade I will definitely opt out of when that comes out. I don't want to remember any of that shit.
Yeah,
dude, wait till you get to the third one and they get into the gaming thing with the dude that looks like Drew Scanlon. Like, you're not gonna want anything to do with any of this shit. Oh God, it's good. You need to keep watching.
Yeah, that's probably next. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the first season is so, like, it really is really good, but it also kind of sets so much negative, like, ending expectation for the rest of the series. Like, I almost find myself laughing sometime at, like, the horrible shit that happens, because I'm like...
I gotta be honest, John, you kind of turned me off, and I haven't watched any of it.
Wow.
Oh, you need to see the second one. The second episode, it's fucked up, obviously, but what they do with it is probably what hooked me on the series to begin with. And just where they took it to.
There's an old joke about the school I went to. So if I want to watch a guy fuck a pig, I can always just go back to Stillwater.
Isn't that where all the Saints are?
Stillwater?
Yeah. Or is it Steelport and then they went to Stillwater? The fucking Saints, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Saints Row.
Right.
Was there Stillwater in Saints Row? I don't think there was.
I thought there was in Saints Row the Third that all the shit went bad at the end of 2, which I attempted to play and never got through, and then they got kicked the fuck out and they had to move to Stillwater. I thought
it was Steelwater.
No, it's Stillwater. It's Saints Row 3, I think.
There's a few Stillwaters around. But yeah.
So, but tell us, how is Johnny Gat? Is he as cool as that company wants us to think he is? Okay, it is Steelport, Stillwater. Sorry. Okay. Yep. So John, you've been watching Series 4 of Black Mirror. I'm a couple into it. What do you think so far?
I like about half the season. Like, I don't think any of it was bad necessarily, but like that first episode with Matt Damon playing the head programmer guy at World of Warcraft or something, whatever their game was. That one was hard for me because it's like it was just a series of people treating each other like shit. So I didn't really like any of the characters, and I wasn't super attached to the concept. And
it works in Always Sunny.
And by the way, that's not Matt Damon. That's Meth Damon, as in the guy from Breaking Bad that looks like Matt Damon, and his name is Jesse Plemons.
Oh, that wasn't actually Matt Damon.
No, that is fucking. That was the kid from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's Jesse P. Lemons. It's not Jesse Plemons.
I don't.
Wait, what? No.
Look it up. IMDb it.
Are you saying that is like the
have you
the fucking
Jesse
science
Plemons
bitch guy? Like, is that who you're saying it is?
No.
That's Aaron
Jesse, who plays Jesse Pinkman. Jesse P. Lemons is the actor that plays Todd in Season 5.
Dude, everything I'm seeing everywhere. No, you're fucking fucking with me. No, I'm not calling him Jesse P. Lemons. This isn't fucking Saturday Night Live's dumb Halloween joke.
Am I the only one that thinks that's funny? I think so. Okay, I'll stop.
I'm not following
Jesse
any
Plemons.
of this.
Anyway, so it's the one you probably saw in the trailers where he's the captain of the starship and he's put on some weight since Breaking Bad. I don't know. I thought that one was real dumb, and then they got to the hook, which you kind of spoiled. So let's not beat that over the head. There's a hook, like, maybe it's pretty quick, it's about 10 minutes in, that, like, this is not at all what you think it is. And so far, I've only seen the first 3. I'm on the one where people have the little discs that they carry around that tells them how long their current relationship will last.
Oh, yeah. That one's kind of
like,
neat.
That one's, what, the 3rd?
Something like that.
Episode? So I know I've seen that one, or I'm halfway through that one. I know I've seen the first one, and I saw the one with the lady who, like, there was the detective who can pull memories out of people.
That's handy.
Oh, yeah. That one's super fucked up.
They have to make you think about what happened, and, like, they use it for crime reconstruction, or, like, in this case, someone was getting, there was, like, an automated, you know, Domino's has those, I think they're in Australia, they have automated, like, pizza cars now. Have you guys seen those?
No.
It's just this fucking, they throw a pizza in the drone. It's not a flying drone, it's an automated vehicle. And this fucking thing just drives to your house. And, like, it's all heated and stuff, so, like, it's kind of... I don't think it cooks on the way, but it's, like, hotter than it would be out of the bags because there's fucking robot delivered it to your house.
Because you can keep it 150 degrees in there because there's not a human inside?
Right. So, anyway, there's this event where, like, someone gets hit by one of these quasi-domino things. And so, like, the insurance investigator is trying to reconstruct what actually happened from everyone's first-person perspective.
Like all the witnesses and stuff.
Right, and, you know, this person's memory leads her to another person, another person, another person, and one of these people did some real fucked up shit and doesn't want anyone to be able to narc on them, but nobody can elect to be quiet about something, partly because it's the law in this you know, version of the world, and then partly because they can just yank the memories out of your head if they want to. So, like, it gets real fucked up and spirals out of control real fast.
I can't imagine.
I'm really, you know what? I don't want to watch it. I never want to watch it. It really sucks and it makes it feel real shitty. But, like, every time I do, I'm so glad I did because they're just really good at what they do.
You see, I agree that they're still really good at what they do, but they've lost their ability to make me feel shitty. Because they've already, like, I already know they're going to do whatever horrible thing they can think of. Like,
well, you're dead inside, John.
To a certain extent, like, no one's redeemable, right? So
they keep coming up with new fucked up shit to do, man.
Like,
particularly in that episode I just was talking about.
Like, the surprise endings for me are when there's a happy ending. Or an ending that could be, like, construed as happy in some fashion. You know, like the old folks' home in the last season, for instance.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. It was like Rockaway Beach or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I forget the name, but it was the name of San Junipero.
Yeah.
That's the one you're thinking of.
That was a nice episode.
Yeah, you know what?
It's a nice episode.
It's a me, Black Mirror. Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I'm probably gonna go back and watch the whole thing again. Josh, you really should keep watching it. They have a lot of good guest stars.
Very.
Like an hour and a half? No.
Some of them...
The first one in this season was an hour and a half, but they're generally between 44 and 50-ish. I mean, it's a British show, so they were all between an hour and a half and an hour when, like, it was on the air, but now Netflix owns it, so they can kind of make it whatever they want.
But the Sherlock ones are, like, movies.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Those must have been 3 or 4 hours when they aired.
No. I mean, the whole, like, if you take the series itself, you know, it's 3, like, 2-hour, hour-and-a-half episodes for Sherlock.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of good guest stars and stuff on Black Mirror as you start going forward, and it starts kind of getting some popularity, and yeah, definitely stick with it.
Yeah.
The first season had I'm gonna murder his last name, Daniel Kaluuya. The guy who was in Get Out and is in Black Panther.
That is him, yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a good point to start off for his work too. I haven't seen anything bad from him yet.
Who's he playing Black Panther?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Get it?
But
Yeah, just to vamp for a second. I think I might be done with all this superhero shit. Like, I might watch this new Avengers one and then like pull the ripcord. I mean, we're like 27 movies in here. Like, I don't. I'm done. Like, would you watch
superhero fatigue, man?
Would you watch 27 fucking Harry Potter movies? No.
I
Plus,
haven't
the
watched.
kids would be like,
I haven't watched 27 movies on one character.
Well, we're all about to get, well, not about to, but by 2030, we're going to have 27 Star Wars movies.
ugh, fuck all that too. I got a business trip coming up here, and
Dude,
one of the buddies who's going with me, it's like,
yeah.
hmm?
Disney's just going to keep cranking them out, and it's
Of
going
course
to
they
remove
would.
all the magic from it.
Well, you say that like it's been a decade now, and they've all been from somewhere between good and really fucking good. Like, so I don't see an issue with it. Like, I'm
stuff.
excited for Black Panther. I don't know what to think about Infinity War yet. That one will be a time will tell thing. I'm excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Did like Ant-Man.
Like DC movies, I don't know. Like Wonder Woman 2, I look forward to seeing, but other than that, I don't really care.
It's another one. No one likes them, and they don't make a whole lot of money, and they keep cranking them out.
What else do they have?
Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman made a lot of money.
They did.
They didn't crack $1 billion, but I think they got up to like 800 million or something like that.
It's enough to keep this train rolling.
But Justice League did not. Justice League, I don't even think has cracked $500 million, which is an issue for them with the amount of money they
Suicide Squad
spent.
bombed too, didn't it?
No, that made a lot of money.
Did it?
They got
Suicide Squad bombed. I get it.
Okay.
It was a suicide bomb. No, it totally didn't, because everyone thought they were getting a different movie than they did.
Everyone thought it would be good, but then it was terrible. Okay, so maybe some make money. They're still not very good on the whole.
Honestly, if we had realized that was a really shitty cover of Bohemian Rhapsody in that trailer, like, feelings would have been different. Like, because I listened to that whole soundtrack the other day because there's some good tunes on it, and that is a fucking cover of Bohemian Rhapsody where
Is
they
it
did the
really?
song, almost the exact same, but the lead singer's voice isn't as good. Then they.
It's cheaper to get the rights to a cover, I bet.
Well, but it's why cover a fucking perfect song if you're not going to do something completely different with it? Like, there's no.
You can't just try to do it like them because you're not going to, right? You have to change it up.
Yeah, like maybe for a live show, okay, cool. Like that would be a fun thing to throw in randomly, but like, come on. Don't record that and put it out. I'm never going to listen to your version over fucking Queen's. Like, unless you do something interesting with it, something different.
Like that awful "We're Not Gonna Take It" cover at the end of Wolfenstein 2. Like
or a
biffed it,
marching
but-
band arrangement. Those are always
Sure.
great.
I got to look up
They
that.
fucked it up, but it was certainly unique.
I really got to look up that Wolf 2 cover. Like everyone, it's really funny reading everyone's reactions on it, and I don't know if I'll ever actually play Wolf 2. So,
Well, and again, they make the credits longer than they are. Like they're out of credits. It's a black fucking screen, and they still won't let you get out of it because the song isn't done. It's like 6.5 minutes long.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's the fucking worst. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was just vamping because you were trying to look stuff up. Are we done with Black Mirror?
Black Bear.
I believe so.
Ooh, Black Mirror. Bam. So I'm gonna move on here. I've been playing an ass ton of stuff. I bought so many video games. I bought so many video games. I think I got like 6 on the Steam sale, and then I had credit on PS4, and then there was an Amazon sale on a different game, and I had Amazon credit. I think I bought
Was
like 8 games.
was one of those games GTAV?
One I don't know what a GTAV is, but I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5
Oh.
quite a bit. I don't know that I have a ton to say about it. Like it's a GTA game. It's polished.
Was this your first playthrough?
Oh yeah, I kept waiting for it to come down under, I don't know, $30, and it will just never come down under $30. This game is what, 4 or 5 years old at this point?
It came out in 2013, I think. It came out on PS3 and Xbox 360, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, I mean this is a really old game, and it's still perpetually in this, the high in the sales charts, and never comes under 30 because
I think it's a
just
little over 4 years old. Yeah, Rockstar and Blizzard, man, they never lower their prices. Well, Blizzard started to.
Yeah, Blizzard just starts giving their games away, dude. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe
StarCraft is literally free now.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else. Anyway, continue.
So like I saw it was on. I got some Steam cards for Christmas, and I saw it was on sale for like $26.99, and I was like, is it ever gonna go under 27? Like, probably not.
No.
Fine, I'll pick it up. So I got it, and it's a Grand Theft fucking auto game. Like,
Yep.
it is a... Yep. That's what it is.
It doesn't really do anything new with the series.
What
No,
about the
and
heists?
Well, I'll get to that. The writing... I used to think the writing wasn't funny, but it was at least clever, like with their satire and stuff.
Oh, there's nothing
don't
clever
know-
about the GTA 5 satire.
No, I don't know if it's
No.
that they got worse at it or I got older, but the writing is just fucking awful in this.
It's not very good.
Josh, did you play
It's
GTA 5
almost
at all?
like it's almost like
yeah.
second level satire, Jake. It's like satire of satire. You
So,
see what I'm
like,
saying? Like
They're making fun of the way they wrote their old games.
the
and
writing
ramping
is
it up.
so bad that it's like they're making fun of satire. It's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
satirized.
Randy's right on that count. Yeah, I played through it a while back, and I went back to online recently, and it's all just playing off of making fun of itself the entire time. Especially with Trevor. I mean, God.
Well,
that character.
Trevor's actually the only guy whose name I remember.
Trevor is what Rockstar thinks of their players.
I'm okay. I'll give it that. But so actual gameplay wise, there's not a lot that's new. I've been playing on PC, and it's got a first person mode. I don't know if that's on the console versions as well.
Yeah, there were a couple different perspectives you could do, if I remember right.
It helps a lot with the shooting.
First person does?
Mm-hmm. And
On
it just
PC I could see that on PC. Is that where you're playing it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing with the controller, and really I don't get in a lot of firefights. And if I do, I have it set up to where if I go into cover, it pops out to third person again. So they're really good at letting you control when stuff changes. Like when I drive, it's third person chase cam. I'm in cover, it's sort of regular third person. Pop out. Gears of War style. But it makes it. It's sort of being in first person takes away kind of the worst piece of GTA, which is the shitty, like foot traversal, where it's like
Yeah, it's weird they haven't gotten a whole lot better at that.
yeah,
since
he's still
2001.
your dude still moves like he's on in Vice City, where he can't turn on a dime. He's got to it's almost like he's got tank controls because he's got to loop around to turn around.
Mhm.
That goes away in first person.
You
But
can just whip around.
it's first person movement. It's you can feel it doing its GTA thing here and there, but by and large it's great.
I would imagine first person is more immersive too.
Well, it is until you start seeing one of those ads that's like on a truck or something like that. And when you're in third person, something like it looks like the texture hasn't popped in all the way, except
Yeah.
it totally has. Just because the game's so big and they don't want loading screens, that
Right.
some of the assets are just not good.
Well, and like you said, it came out for last gen tech.
It still looks good. It still looks pretty, aside from the sacrifices they had to make, due to memory constraints.
I was disappointed with how the map is huge, but the city is not very big. I was disappointed with that.
The highways are fun. I'm liking the highways so far. But back to the perspective, I have a couple of stories, because the thing about GTA is the writing sucks. The missions usually aren't fun. Those heists, you're right, John, are totally awesome. I've only been able to do 2 so far. One was better than the other, but those are very strong.
I mean, there's not very many in the game, right? There's only...
I think like 5, maybe.
It says 4 or 5. Yeah, sounds right.
So really, what the reason I keep playing this game is just open world hilarity, because the engine has gotten better, but it's still so much in emergent gameplay is sort of an old term at this point. But so much goofy shit just happens in those games. I haven't giggled more. Oops, sorry. I haven't giggled more playing a game in years. So like, and the perspective fits into that. So like you have a cell phone, it takes place in modern, well, quote unquote modern day because it's 2013.
Right.
So you have a cell phone, and you can pull out your cell phone and answer a call when someone's calling. Well, so I'm going through traffic at 90 miles an hour on my motorcycle, and the wife calls for something. And so my attention, like in my real life attention, comes off watching where I'm going to look down and see what I'm supposed to do with this phone. And as I hit the button to answer the call and go, hello, I immediately rear-ended the car and
you go
ragdoll
flying off the motorcycle, right?
I flew off the motorcycle, and when you do that, because I'm not in a car anymore, it goes into first person. So
Jesus.
I bounced and ragdolled and rolled for like half a block, and he survived it, and he gets up and he was like, he just didn't call her back. So
Well,
he
I
picks
mean,
up the phone.
yeah.
She hears whoop, thump of the 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 for half a block.
He doesn't.
Oh,
He's embarrassed at that point,
Yeah, he's just like, I'll talk to her when I get home.
Yeah.
If it's important, she'll call back.
That is pretty funny.
And then, like, there's another spot. One of their mini games now is you play tennis.
Uh-huh.
I got the giggles again just thinking about it. You're playing tennis because one of the guys. There's the rich guy, the crazy guy, and the black guy. And the rich guy is this old mobster who's been out of the game, but he's retired. Think like very Goodfellas, Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
His whole family's dysfunctional. They all hate him. His wife's cheating on him. All this stuff. But you and your wife at one point are playing tennis in your own tennis court, which is sort of like in the side yard of his mansion.
Yeah.
And it's right next to a road on a hill that's like up in the Hollywood Hills, probably is the analog.
Beverly Hills, I think.
Okay.
Whatever.
I don't even know if those are the same thing or not.
They're
whatever. So whatever you said, I'm sure it's that thing. But while we're playing tennis, and this is a pretty long mini game, I think it was probably 15 minutes of tennis, and something in the open world programming just broke for half a second out of view. So like, my back is, the house is kind of on the corner, and my back is to the corner. And I just heard something go thunk, thunk, in that GTA, like two cars hit each other or something. And this car alarm goes off, and it's just going off and going off and going off while we're playing tennis. And it lasted for like 5 minutes, and you could hear cars banging into each other as they tried to go around whatever car got wrecked in the street.
So there's like a 40-car pileup, right?
And I have no idea because I can't see it. I just hear all this like crazy shit going on in the background. And then just today I was playing a little bit before we started, and there are these tow trucks are a thing in the game, and there are certain missions where you have to like
Go, yeah.
There's a car full of weed and the car won't start, so you got to take it back or whatever. So I got this tow truck, and each of the characters has their superpower. And the black guy's he's super awesome at driving. Mm-hmm. So you click in both the thumbsticks, and it kind of goes into bullet time. Yeah.
But you stay super maneuverable.
Right, and you're not going to tip over, and it's just super driving. Well, the tow truck did that, but the car I was towing did not. And I took a tight turn, which is why I had to use the superpower in the first place. I took this tight turn, and so I put it back into real time, but because I took this tight left, the car I was towing had swung around perpendicular to the way I was driving. So, like, it was facing the opposite of the way I was driving when I started the turn. And it's 90 degrees against the way I'm driving now.
Hmm.
Okay, so it pinned the needle on the right side. And so I went back into regular mode, and this thing bounces off that side and then swings completely over to the other side, and it's doing this 180-degree swing from side to side as I'm going like 65 down the street. And on one side,
Street sweeper.
It's sweeping the street. On the one side, it's going into oncoming traffic. On the other side, it's just sweeping the sidewalk, and just 7-8 pedestrians just all get clipped by this car, this sedan just going completely sideways.
Oh man, there's no insurance for that either.
Yeah, I mean, you're on the sidewalk. Like, it's just that moment-to-moment stuff that you don't know is going to happen. And, like, that's not even the game breaking. Like, the tennis one kind of is. But that's not even game breaking. That's the game working as intended.
Yeah, and just being awesome.
It's just a hysteria simulator. Oh.
The best animated GIF I've ever seen of GTA 5 is this guy's in a big like dump truck style thing, and he's being chased by the cops through the desert, and he goes off the road, and he like hits this little bump, and he doesn't go very high because he's in this big old tractor trailer with the open bed, and then he lands and he's driving through the desert, and all of a sudden you see this cop car come flying up over him. And it flips over, and it lands on its roof in the bed of the guy's big tractor trailer. And he just keeps driving.
Yeah, I mean, there was another one where I was on a motorcycle going down the highway, and I popped a wheelie and hit some dude's back bumper and landed on one of the overhead signs. Like the green signs that are over, 90 to wherever. Just landed on one of them, hung out up there for a while. Like,
well, how do I get down?
My reception's really good up here. Anyway, there's not like the game engine is awesome. Everything else about it is like a 5 out of 10.
I'll give you
but
that.
I'm gonna keep playing it just to hope more insane shit happens, which is what those games are for.
I've played and beat almost all of them since GTA 3. I like those games and I like going through the story missions and stuff. But I know a lot of people that find that particular part of GTA boring. Like I know, John, I think you prefer Saints Row, and I've got a couple friends that vastly prefer Saints Row over GTA, and they'll play through Saints Row 3 or 4 times before they'd ever pick GTA up. So,
well, Saints, for me in particular, any open world game that has a character I can customize already has a leg up over a. And by customize, maybe I should rephrase that. Any open world game that has a character I can create. Has a leg up over a game that's gonna make me be the same person for hours on end.
I'm sure they'll. I bet in GTA, what would it be, 6? I bet they'll be custom, because that's like sort of the one thing they haven't done yet. And they could record a male and a female voice, right? And you could create a custom character, or I bet it'll be a female protagonist or something like that. They're gonna do something.
Well, you've already kind of got that with the online component, though. Aside from the vocals,
That's true. You customize your online guy.
They've done a lot of building on what they started out with, and on the online to create a character, and then to kit it out with whatever gear, whatever clothing options you end up unlocking. It's definitely unique sometimes what people choose, but I mean, you got at least 6 different stores that are open within like half an hour of playing online.
Oh, yeah, you can customize your clothing and stuff.
I mean, like I said, you don't have the vocal option because your character is essentially silent. But I mean, just a little bit of play on there. If you do online, you're definitely going to have a lot more options than you do with the actual single player side.
Yeah, and I was talking more single player. Like, I bet they'll have a customizable single player campaign avatar.
I don't know. Rockstar seems pretty dedicated to their stories having specific characters in it.
They want to have all those shitty lines, and you know what? The writing itself is bad, but the story arcs, the character arcs, aside from Trevor, everything about Trevor is awful. From his superpower to his character to the storyline to the writing, it's all awful.
I don't even remember what Trevor's was.
His superpower?
Yeah.
He gets real angry. The screen goes totally... Oh, you know what? This is a cool thing. So I have a Logitech G510 and a Logitech mouse. I don't know. But they both have customizable color in them. And in certain games, the game has its own profile that'll load in.
Sure.
So, like, is it Michael? Is that the name of the rich guy?
Michael's the white guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 white guys, but yeah, the rich guy's Michael.
Michael, Trevor, and then...
Calvin.
Damn it.
CJ, I think. No, that was...
CJ San Andreas.
Yeah.
No. Although, you do go to that cul-de-sac in one of his missions. You go to the San Andreas cul-de-sac where CJ...
The GTA worlds are all... they share.
At any rate,
Sure.
all these characters, you can switch between them on the fly, and they all have their own missions, and they all have their own color-coded stuff. And so, like, Trevor's is orange and Michael's is blue, and if I'm playing as Michael, my mouse and my keyboard will both switch to blue lighting, and if I switch over to Trevor, they both go orange. If I switch over to the third guy, they both go green. Like, it doesn't add anything to the experience, but it's cool to look down and be like, oh.
I was feeling bad because we couldn't remember the black character's name. It's Franklin Clinton.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good name. Franklin.
Well, you couldn't name him anything, too black, because then you'd be racist. So Franklin Clinton.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Anyway, that's the GTA stuff. If I ever do the online thing, which is very unlikely, but if I ever do that, I might talk about it again. But that might be it. Oh boy, I might get some more stories I got to tell that probably were way too ahead to be there. But man, do I have fun with that thing. Anyway,
Well, I'm excited for 2020 when GTA 6 comes out.
Well,
Just in
dude,
time for the next generation.
I don't know that they would. They're making fucking bank off that online.
They're
I mean,
just
that's-
see, and I finished the story part, and I was like, okay, well, I guess it's time to give the online stuff a shot. And then I created my avatar, and then it just dumped me in San Andreas, and I was like, what do I do now? I could not figure out what to do or how to get into any of the mini games or what. I couldn't. All the cars were gone because there's not as many cars in the online portion, like traffic-wise. You know what I mean?
Oh well, I'm sure that's by design.
Well, sure. Yeah, I get that, but I couldn't get a car. I couldn't find a car to steal and drive around. I had no idea. I walked around. I was like, I can't start any of the games because I didn't have the money to enter or something like that. It's like, well, how do I get money? I don't know. I couldn't figure
Kenny
out what to do.
Loggins. Kenny Loggins on the soundtrack. That's a very important point that I need to make sure I brought up. Do you not know who Kenny Loggins is?
Yeah, I know who Kenny Loggins is.
Okay.
I feel like
He's
we're
on
in,
Roasters.
we're in some sort of restricted area where we might get in trouble. Where we might be
Kenny-
in danger.
No, that's not the song. Nope, it's not even that one.
It's not? He has another song?
No, he did the entire soundtrack of Top Gun.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Kenny Rogers.
They're basically the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty
Kenny
of that one
Loggins.
too.
Yeah, he did Playing with the Boys, Danger Zone.
God, what's the one? I think it's Mighty Wings. That's not right.
Have you seen the video for Playing with the Boys? Like the act, not the one. It's like intercut with the volleyball footage.
Where they're playing volleyball.
Yeah, but it's intercut, and then like it flashes back and forth between the dudes with their shirts off playing volleyball, and then it's Kenny Loggins, like writhing around on this huge bed, talking about playing with the boys.
No,
It-
you sure that's that one? Because I thought that was Danger Zone, where he's in the hotel room and it's all like film
That-
noir bit and stuff.
It might be Danger Zone. I thought it was Playing with the Boys though. But
Oh,
it
it's I'm
doesn't-
Free. I'm
Neither
Free,
one's-
which I think was off the Footloose soundtrack, if I remember right.
Did he do
Anyway.
Did he just write the '80s soundtracks to everything?
Look, he could have wrote the '90s too, and I would have been fine with it. Fuck you.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to other open worlds. John, what do you got?
So the last 3 weeks, I've almost played my Switch exclusively, and I've been kind of playing two games. Like one, I broke down because I had an emotional journey with Zelda, like a personal, emotional, intellectual journey with Zelda, and I was so frustrated I wasn't getting the game, and I really, really wanted to play Skyrim on Switch, so I just said screw it and used one of my Christmas gift cards and went and picked it up. Which, Jake, you were right, going back to that game at this point in time, it's like, wow, like the opposing Empire faction very much is going for the Nord ethno state in fucking Skyrim, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I like just immediately kind of getting there and hearing the Skyrim is for the Nords. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna be a Argonian. You know the reptiles.
Maybe like if we could build a wall on our southern border to keep Skyrim for
Yeah.
the North or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I rolled up an Argonian and then I named him Jormungandr. I don't actually know how to say that, but you know that's the world serpent from Norse mythology. That
I think it's Jormungandr.
Jormungandr. So I felt like that was appropriate. And that game is still real good. It's almost a new experience for me on the Switch because I have to play fairly and without mods.
Yes.
Which I'm not sure if I've ever done, to be honest. Like, because I hate carrying capacity in games, like, with a fiery passion. So, like, in Skyrim originally, it was always, upping my weight limit through the console commands. But now I'm going to revisit this dungeon 2 to 3 times to make sure I pick everything up and get all the money from it.
But how often do you actually need money in those games? That's the thing.
I gotta buy property, man. Like, I got my breeze home going, and now I gotta fucking afford materials so I can get my smithing up and start building.
You gotta invest in real estate.
Yeah.
Land's the only thing they're not making more of.
Yeah. So, but basically what I've been doing is I'll play Skyrim till I get to something that annoys me, which, it's a 6-year-old game at this point. And every mission...
Is that all?
Every mission's point is go to this dungeon and kill this thing and get this thing,
But they're all still... Like, I've been playing an ass ton of Skyrim lately, too. And they're all, like, generally, the dungeons are all pretty good.
Yeah.
There's so many unique ones, and the layouts are generally good, and...
So something that surprised me going back to it, because keep in mind I'm playing this with Zelda on my mind, thinking, people are saying Zelda's the best open world ever. What the fuck ever. And, Zelda's big thing is world interactivity, right? Like, you can light the grass on fire, and it'll spread. You can...
Is that a euphemism?
You can cut down...
You can also do some cooking. You get baked.
Yeah. You can cut down trees and climb everything and shit like that. So in Skyrim, I honestly didn't remember there being any environment stuff. And that game is, it doesn't have those specific environmental systems, but there's a lot of environment shit in that game. Like, every dungeon is just covered in traps that you can bypass or disarm, and like they're...
And it's not like there's only... that's another sort of... I mean, the comparison's easy to Fallout because they're the same engine. In Fallout, you have what? Like, maybe 3 types of traps? Like, you have a landmine, the laser tripwire, and, like, maybe a shotgun. I guess you got, like, the grenades hanging from string or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's 11 or 12 different types of traps in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And they're really well hidden.
So, I have been enjoying my time with Skyrim, but I finally learned how to love Zelda. And it was partly in a big part to Gibbinator, I believe. It was Gibbinator, right? It wasn't... Yeah, it was Gibbinator in our Discord kind of telling me the things I missed that would have told me how to play the game. Which was my big issue with Zelda, because I got in the game and... Oh, here's this old guy. I talked to him a bunch, and I went and did stuff and got off the plateau, and a couple hours in, I'm like... This would be a lot easier if I could make some of that food everyone was talking about on the internet. Why can't I do that? Oh, evidently because the old guy at the beginning is supposed to tell you at some point, but that never happened. Oh, I'm in this cold region, and the cold is making me die. I saw a journal where the cold guy was saying he would trade his cold-resistant shirt or something if he could remember this one ingredient, but I never fucking found it again, So... And then it was also, the other pain in the ass thing about that is because your weapons are constantly breaking. You're constantly finding weapons.
Yeah,
and
that sounds like a pain in the butt.
You can only hold X amount of things in your inventory. Well, it turns out there was this creature in front of one of the villages I went to that I just completely bypassed and ignored. I say that, I'm pretty sure I talked to her, and then she's like, I need nuts for my maracas. And I'm like, whatever, man. It walked on, and I found out later, no, I need to give her those because then I can exchange them to upgrade my inventory.
This bitch is crazy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, who puts nuts in their maracas?
Yeah.
Like, you can fit like 3 walnuts in a maraca. It doesn't go it goes clunk, 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 clunk.
She only wanted 2. 1 for each maraca, so I don't know.
This girl does not know what she's talking about.
It sounds like one of those. It's that piece of plastic that kids get at parties where it's got the 2 hands on either side and it's the clapper that you just swing back and forth.
Clack, 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 clack.
Yeah.
Those are her maracas.
So I did all that, And in the process, I wound up with some stamina upgrades, and I finally really like Zelda a whole lot. Like before, I kind of liked it. I thought it was okay. I didn't get the hype. Now I understand why people think what they do, and I also understand like Jeff Gerstmann on Giant Bomb's criticism of it, where that game, like all the systems in it, are possible because they threw a giant amount of manpower to make that fucking happen. Like
I'd be honest, I haven't played every Zelda out there, but the ones I have played, like one of the rules is you talk to every motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I talked to the characters in that game, but they all bore the piss out of me. Like,
yeah, and you didn't listen to anything they had to say. That's on you, motherfucker.
I don't. Well, look, the guy did not tell me how to fucking cook. That never happened.
But the lady told you she wanted your nuts, and you were just like, "Nah, I'm out of here."
I'm sorry, this big plant-looking motherfucking fairy thing. No, thank you. I'm out. That was not a slur. She was a fairy.
I watched probably 3 hours of a Let's Play with no commentary on this yesterday, and I'm completely opposite now. I am more and more sure that this game is not at all for me, because every piece of this game is the game throwing up a fucking hurdle for you to like. And I get it, games are supposed to be challenging, but this just seems like everything is just like, here's every system we built is a pain in the ass. From the inventory system to the weapons breaking to stamina, like, so to me the stamina, from what I was seeing, like when you're climbing up a wall, it's the equivalent in a sense of being Mario underwater, and like because you only have X number of time to get this thing done, and like it just, I hate those parts of those games. I hate it with Sonic. I hate it with Mario. I don't want a stamina system. I don't want to have to manage my inventory like that. I don't want to have to climb a bunch of towers to, Assassin's Creed my way around the map. Like, well, that's none of this game is for me.
That's partly how I figured out how to enjoy it, because it is the ultimate Ubisoft game. I'm still sticking with that part of it, like, because I'm still, like, once I just ditched off all this other bullshit and thought, okay, what do I want to do? I want to get my stamina bar up. I want to buy the house, which I still haven't done yet, and I want to get some equipment. And you know what? Let's unlock the map. Let's play this like I would an Ubisoft open world game. So I've just been beelining for all the fucking towers and unlocking those. And, you find a lot of shrines, and there's a lot to discover in that game, but you're always kind of discovering the same shit. Sometimes it's kind of presented in a different package, but, I discovered this secret, and it's,
What's going on with the bokoblins, those goblin motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Like, when you kill them, they scream like, it's a, oh my god, you killed me scream. Like, it's not a cute, cartoony, like, ugh. Why did they make that decision?
Honestly, I don't have the sound up a lot, because I'm usually just playing while my wife's doing something on the TV or whatnot, so
It's horrific.
I don't know. They're more annoying than anything. Honestly, I run away from enemies half the time in that game. So
you wouldn't think they were annoying if you had the sound up, because you think that they're going to be Diablo impy like Rakadishu, and no, they're not. They're just oof. It's chilling the sounds they make when Link kills them. Like, I get why people felt like shitheads to just crash their party and just like murder them all for their fucking tomatoes or whatever.
And I've seen a lot of other enemy types around the map. I haven't beaten anything large, though. Like, there are these giant rock monsters that I guess you got to climb on, which I haven't really figured out a good way to actually climb on them without getting smashed. Because they're kind of this... They're not like Shadow of the Colossus big by any means, They're just, where if Link were 5 feet tall, they might be 30 feet tall kind of thing. But they don't have a really good climbing on point, and they're trying to kill you fairly quickly whenever you encounter them. I went to that Eventide Island that everyone was talking about. Yeah, that island's just a big trial. So, minor spoiler.
But they take all your shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is all that island is. So, I didn't beat it, so maybe there's something at the end of Eventide Island that's nice, but I'm pretty sure I'll just get a spirit orb and some money. But I'm enjoying the game. I'm wanting to play it more often than I'm not. and Switch is by far right now my favorite console. I love being able to take that thing and play it on work. It is a beautiful screen. It's playing Skyrim in my fucking on a handheld is amazing.
I'm gonna have to get one.
I really wish I had one for this plane ride coming up because I'm packing up my original fucking 2DS, and not even like an XL, and I'm going like, wish this was a Switch, but like I'm not dropping that kind of cash because I don't travel. Like it's such a rarity that I travel. But man, you know, if I was on the plane regularly, or if I took the bus or the train to work or whatever.
Yeah,
I'd probably be coming around on this thing.
What's the battery life like on the handheld?
They are correct, and it's a pretty hard 3 hours. It also, of course, depends on the game. Skyrim is pretty intensive. Like I suspect I might only actually get 2.5 hours out of Skyrim. And oh, by the way, tip for Switch owners: if you buy a spare dock, it comes with an extra. It comes with the AC adapter. And it comes with an HDMI cable and the dock. But that is $90 if you get the Nintendo version, you know, $89.99. Best Buy has a $40 version they sell that's a slightly different dock that comes with all the same shit. So get that one. That's what I got. It works fine. I haven't tested out the actual dock on it because I really just wanted the AC adapter, and then when it stops being freezing and I can go on my downstairs again, I figured I'd hook the dock up down there for it too, but the main
point
point
seem
was
like the Switch is an expensive endeavor.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's but man, I love it. I love that the fucking like the game things. I mean, they're tiny. Like they're I need a real game
discs?
to hold up to it. Oh yeah, no,
they tiny like are they like GameCube size?
They're cartridges.
Yeah, no,
they are.
Well, nothing's. What are you gonna walk around with this thing having a disc spinning in it while you're walking around?
No, that's true. No,
this doesn't help the podcast. But this is the size of a cart for the stream, which is roughly the size of half of my thumb. Yeah,
that's cool. I miss cartridges, honestly.
So
well, and that's the other thing is it's so sneakily expensive. You know, like where they decided not to put enough storage on this thing. And they make you buy SD cards or whatever. Like it just, the accessories are super expensive.
Well, I mean, there was a however many gig hard drive in my PS4, and I filled that up pretty quick.
When this thing is what, 64 gigs on board?
No, it is like 16 or 32 or something like that.
Okay, like that's oof. So you know,
rewind for a second.
But if they're on cartridges, you can save to cartridges.
So time out for 1 second, guys. In the cartridge versus digital fight, keep in mind this is Nintendo. Don't buy from them digitally if you can avoid it. Like, there's no guarantee that you will be able to keep that game for. I mean, they are as backwards as possible as it comes to their digital upkeeping, and I think they're becoming aware of it, but I don't think they're going to fix it in a year soon. So, you know, buy hard copies when you can. That's not always the case. You know, Blaster Master Zero I had to get a digital of. It was only $10, and that game is fantastic, but it's... But these
things still have to install to the hard drive, even if they're still on cartridges, right?
No. There's no installation process. They play off the cartridge.
Yeah, like old school style. See, I'm into that because it's faster too. It's like you're loading off of a SD.
I don't think that's across the board.
I
think there are games that you need to download stuff as well, but
oh yeah, no, you still get update patches. Like that's all of the games. Just about all the games I've bought have had an update patch. It's generally been pretty quick to install, but. And I haven't even looked into seeing how much free space I have left.
What did they do back in the SNES and Genesis days if there was a bug in their game? Where it's just in there now.
Yeah, you just ship it, man. That's all they ever did.
I'm sure they were much more careful. Like these days, you can release it. You're like, fuck it, we'll fix it with a patch later. But
or you were Capcom and you would just release another version of the game 4 months from now.
Well, and I gotta imagine the development cycle for those games 20 years ago, 25 years ago was much shorter.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. I don't know the answer to that.
Actually, it is. I'm pretty sure they were churning out games every year. A lot of studios were. Like, keep in mind, what is it, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 came out within a year of each other? something like that.
Well, but once you get like the engine set up and all that, the heavy lifting's done, right? Once you're basically just reskinning and putting some new story modes in, then I think that's pretty easy to do, comparatively.
Well, especially if you had spillover ideas from the first game that you couldn't fit in or whatever. So now, you know, that's stuff you don't have to brainstorm. And yeah, okay.
Like that's the reason they can put out a Mega Man every 1 or 2 years or whatever back in the day. Is because it's the same game. They're just
they were just those were level packs.
Yeah.
Mega Man 3 was DLC. Like
Yeah, so well, that's pretty much all I got to say about Switch and stuff. And I don't, if I ever beat Zelda, which I don't know how likely that is, but I'm playing a lot of it. And I'm enjoying my time with it now that my stamina bar has been leveled up a few times, and I've gotten
seems
some
like that's
decent equipment.
God, what do you think? That's probably a 50-hour game, at least.
I mean, it just depends how much of it you want to get. You know, there's like what 900 Doku seeds in there. And by the way, like, Doku seeds are not fucking special. Like, literally, you climb to the top of a mountain and go, oh, there are 3 rocks in this weird triangle shape. I picked one up. Oh, there's a stupid little thing that gives me a seed. And that is constant. Like, that is the Assassin's Creed feather of Zelda.
John, you just haven't found their use yet.
Well, no, I did. You can upgrade your inventory space. My problem right now is I can't get to the fucking forest to continue upgrading my space. I've been trying to figure out how to get there, and like every time I Google it, I get kind of an unclear answer. And I think it's the section of map I am in now. I just have to figure out where the fuck their stupid village is.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, too, like, to get the Master Sword, you got to get, like, 12 hearts. I have now made a piece of food that will give me an additional 10 hearts onto my 4. So I'm wondering if I even have to actually get the real upgrades to that, or if I can just beeline for the fucking Master Sword.
The Master Sword better not decay.
Oh, it does. It totally does. The fucking Master Sword breaks.
It does not break.
It recharges, but it fucking breaks.
It goes to timeout for 20 minutes at a time.
It repairs itself.
It's the fucking Masters. I'm sorry. I'm okay. I'm calm.
Yeah. Go take a step outside for a second, cool down.
And I'm not even a Zelda fanboy. Like, I haven't played one that I liked since Ocarina of Time. I didn't like Wind Waker. Like, I'm not that guy at all. And it's just like, I know there are certain things you shouldn't do, but whatever. I guess I'm not the target market.
Well, and I was pretty negative on it for a while, too. Like, I was basically having a fucking mental breakdown on our Discord, trying to find someone to explain to me why everyone thinks this game is redefining open world games, which I don't think it does, but I also think it brings something to the front that we don't see a lot of the time, which is, you know, like Grand Theft Auto, you got a bunch of fucking systems in the game where crazy shit can ensue.
From what you were saying, the interaction with the environment in I can't remember what this one's called, Breath of the Wild, is unparalleled.
Well, for Zelda, yeah. I mean, it's definitely different sets of systems. It's Survivor Hyrule Edition, the way he's been playing it. It's kind of ridiculous. Like the rainfall mechanic alone is apparently causing a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, so I haven't bitched about that on here. The rain is the worst. Is the worst thing in Zelda. It brings 2 elements into play. One, rain, which every time you try to climb something while it's raining, you start slipping down, and therefore, you know, lose that chunk of your stamina bar. Like, because you have to climb that same section again. Not because it steals. Well, it does steal it because it makes you fucking slide. But the other negative thing it does is the rain brings lightning. And when someone told me that you could electrocute people with metal things on it, I thought, oh, that's a weird, cool, quirky system that they'll just use once in a while. No, that's incorrect. It is constant. If you have metal on and a rainstorm, take it off because you're going to die and get struck by lightning. But, you know, in reverse. You're going to get struck by lightning and then die.
I mean, if you still have the metal on, if your corpse is there with the metal on, you will continue to be struck by lightning.
You die and you keel over and the sword's just sticking straight up in the air still.
Dimebag Dimebag kind of surprised that I didn't like Wind Waker. So just real quick, and Randy, I think we're going to have to skip releases this week. Sorry.
That's fine.
We got Blue Planet 2 on BBC on the 20th, and we got Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams on Amazon, which is an anthology series which looks cool. It has Bryan Cranston, Steve Buscemi, Terrence Howard, Anna Paquin, Greg Kinnear's in there, so check those out. Anyway, the reason I didn't like Wind Waker, like I didn't initially like the art style, but that grew on me.
I hated the art style.
But
I can get past that.
Right, I got past it. The combat was still real good. I liked the items and stuff. I could not get past that fucking blue thing, which is the ocean. The ocean was way too big. I know it had to be big because I had to feel big, but just sailing for minutes at a time, I hated it. I hated it. And that is so much of that game that even if the rest was fantastic, I couldn't do it. So anyway, that's why I'm not a huge person to look to for Zelda.
Another thing I hate about this Zelda is your stamina
you need to
bar.
Make up your mind, dude.
No, I love this game, but they have a bunch of bullshit in it. Like Skyrim has a bunch of bullshit in it. I could go off on that game for a while too.
Fair enough.
Whenever you are swimming and your stamina runs out, you drown.
Well, yeah, that's how swimming works,
right,
dude. Like if you're underwater and your breath meter runs out, you drown. Yeah, it's shitty.
You aren't underwater. You're on top of the water. As far as I can tell, there's no dive button in this game.
Okay, go find a pool in your neighborhood and go out there and swim for 2.5 hours without touching the bottom. You're gonna fucking drown.
Yeah. Tread water until you can't move anymore, and see what happens.
All right, you have a lot of valid beefs on that, John. That's not one of them.
No, that is definitely one of them. You
down.
go play the game and look at your fucking piddly ass half stamina bar thing and think, oh, I can make this, and then as you're halfway out there, you're like, shit, I can't make this, and I've already used up too much stamina to go back to shore.
I'd wager there's a way to increase your stamina.
There is, and I have.
Start cooking.
Okay.
When you start cooking, you can just, I guess, dump a panini in your face while you're out swimming, and your stamina bar goes.
Well, that and you can give fucking fairies your nuts.
So on that note,
yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Let's see. Be sure and follow the podcast on Twitter. Visit the website, thecarouselpodcast.com. Send us emails to carouselpodcast@gmail.com. Join the Discord. Just go find our Twitter account, and you'll find a Discord link on there.
And as always, if the link that is on there, we post them periodically, but if the link, get it, link, if it's not working for you, just at the account, it comes to all our phones, we will do a new one and post it right away. You'll be able to get right in.
Yeah. So, okay.
All right.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Josh, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And pleasure as always, Jake and Randy. Is there any internet locations you guys need to plug?
I don't think so.
Basically the Discord is the only place to find me on the internet anymore.
Well, there you go. So, thanks everyone for joining us, and see you next turn.
Bye, guys.
Okay, titles.
Turn tittles. Let's see. Let's see. The first one is I fucked up. We're starting over.
Skip the first one. It was before I went on. It was just I was cracking a joke.
The Alchademy. Saw or some bullshit. Michelle Pfeiffer -Wright. A party of some sort. I was just vamping. G-Tav. Jake, you were right.
It was Jake who submitted that one, too.
You did it to me, motherfucker, so...
Zelda on My Mind. And finally, Give Fairies Your Nuts.
It came from Dimebag as well, that last one. I don't know. I got... I don't know. I don't love a ton of these. I got two that I'd be okay with, I guess. What do you guys think?
I think Zelda on My Mind's appropriate. I feel like we went on about that for a while.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
Josh, did you write anything down?
Biggest one that got me was it's a me Black Mirror. That just teased the hell out of me for a minute.
It's a me.
It's me, a Black Mirror.
Let's see.
That felt very funny, but I don't know that it works well over text.
Yeah, no.
Not just because they're mine, but I think the last two are the best.
I kind of like Zelda On My Mind.
Yeah, give Fair Is Your Nuts
Is it gonna get us some hot water?
Granted,
well, it was also phrased funnier.
With how much
earlier.
I've insulted Zelda on social media, that may work against us on people wanting to listen to this.
It's been a month straight of bitching about Zelda, and now it's like, you know what?
I really like this game, except for 20 minutes of shit that I'm going to rant about. Yeah. All right, I can live with that. But
Zelda On My Mind.
I am putting the picture of Matt Damon and Meth Damon in the post.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone for joining us live, and we're going to end the live stream.
All right. See you in 2 weeks.
Yep.